Hello and welcome to Pearls of Parmadice. My name is Courtney. I'm coming to you from Parma, Ohio, and this is episode 5. So if you're just tuning in, thanks for joining me. And if you've been here for all 5 episodes, welcome back. Thank you all so much for being patient with me the last few recordings when my schedule's been a little bit off. We'll be back to normal every other Friday starting September 30th. So that's when you'll see me next. And we have so much to talk about today. It started out as a thunderstormy, rainy morning, very dark. So I'm filming quite a bit later than I usually do. It's beautiful now, sunny, and I am off of work from my day job this week. And there's lots of crafting and knitting and fun to be had. So lots going on, lots of stuff coming up, and we're just gonna jump in and start talking. In case I didn't mention it, today is Monday, September 19th, 2022, and let's talk about what I'm wearing. So I started this as my fall cast on in 2020, finished it mid-fall of last year, 2021, and I absolutely love this. So this is the sock Set Shawl by Cozy Up Knits, and I knit this in a sock set from, let me look, it's been a really long time, Amanda Hope Yarn, her Halloween mystery sock set from 2020, and that's this beautiful, oh, it's gonna do that thing where it likes to take away the preview right when I'm trying to show you things. It's beautiful, like rainbowy variegated yarn, and then the orange, and then the green is just Malabrigo sock yarn in the lettuce colorway. I had that left over from another project. Let me take it off so I can show you. I do have it knotted at one end. It's an asymmetrical shawl. And I know a lot of people say they have trouble wearing asymmetrical shawls. I find them really fun to knit and really versatile to wear. If you don't like them being asymmetrical, you can just do like a fun little knot on the end, and that kind of brings it more into a balance. So we'll pop that back on, zhuzh it just a little bit. There we go. So anyways, again, that's the sock set shawl by Cozy Up Knits. If you have a sock set that you've been wanting to knit up, but you don't really want to make socks, I would highly recommend this pattern. All right, that's what I'm wearing. I'm going to go a little bit fast today because I have a lot to cover, and you guys don't want to be sitting here for 2 hours. I don't really want to sit here for 2 hours. There's lots to do. So if I seem to be going faster than normal, that's why. All right, so finished object. We have one finished object. I'm so happy that this is done. If you've been around for any length of time, unless you only watched my first episode, I don't think I talked about it then, but I have talked about it on every episode since. And I am so happy to be done with this project. If you watched my last episode, you know exactly why. I am so glad I'm done with it. And it's my 999 Happy Hanza Wrap by Jessica Anderson. And I knit this with the 31 Days of Haunted Mansion mini skein set, which was last year's, one of her Fangirl Fibers, I'm sorry. From Fangirl Fibers, it was one of her Halloween countdown options for last year. I guess we have a theme going with the mystery Halloween yarns, apparently. I just really like fall colors and fall and all the fall things. You guys, And if you watched the last episode, you know why I'm emphasizing this section. It is done. I ended up tearing the whole thing out. I can't remember what I shared yesterday. Oh my goodness. Last time. I ended up ripping the entire blue section out, picking it back up. This, like, I don't know, I'm calling it confetti section. So I picked it up with a smaller needle. This is just how it goes. I picked it up in a smaller needle than I know I used. Like a size 3, I think. US size 3. Just because it's easier to get through the stitches. And I was trying to pick these stitches up while this was laying flat, since a piece of this had completely unraveled. And I don't even know what was happening. So I did that. Then I went and started knitting it and realized I was just knitting with these size 3 needles, which is not the size the rest of this was knit on. But I only had done 2 rows, and I decided I'd just leave those 2 rows and move to the size that I had been knitting it on. Except I had no idea what I was knitting it with. None. I have absolutely no clue. Because, you know, I did not take good notes, was not good about putting notes in my Ravelry project page or anything about this. First mistake. And since I had thought it was a finished object before, I put the needles away and the project bag away and everything. I didn't think I would need that information. So the moral of the story is, take good notes, write down what you're using. It will come in handy. You will need this information. I'm talking more to myself than anybody else. So I pulled out what I thought I used, which I think was size 6. I don't really even know. Knit the whole thing. I did run out. I had plenty of extra yarn, but on the bind off, I ran out, had to join some more to finish off the bind off. The bind off's kind of tight. I think I'll turn it. On the other end, you get a nice scalloped edge. On this one, I bound off a little too tight, so you don't get much of a scalloped edge, but that's okay. I did end up blocking it the way that I had planned, where I just really sprayed this part and a little bit into this section with water and pinned it out. That seemed to work just fine for my purposes. Someone had mentioned steam blocking it, which is a great idea, except I don't have a steamer, and the steam function on my iron is not that great. I've tried steam blocking things before and it just doesn't work for me. But that's okay. This worked just fine, and it is done. It is ginormous. Like, if I put it around my neck, just shawl on shawl, people. That's what we're doing. Like this, the ends come all the way down to my feet. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to wear this. I think I'm going to loop it around a bunch of times and shove it in my coat on very cold Northeast Ohio days. In winter, I think it will be really squishy and lovely. And actually wearing it like this around the house, watching TV or something, would be perfect. It's like a blanket length for me, almost, other than my feet. It covers my shoulders. So I don't know. We'll see. It was a fun project to knit. It is not the most wearable thing I have ever knit. I will just say that. I'm not entirely sure how to wear this, but it will also look amazing just draped on the back of a couch or something like that, or over a chair. So all knitting is good knitting. I love these colors. It was so much fun. I am also very happy to have it off of my needles. So and I started this October 1st of 2021. So we came in just under a year on this one. So that's, again, $9.99. Happy Hanza Wrap by Jessica Anderson. And this is probably the last time you guys are going to see this one unless I wear it on the podcast. So hooray! We finished. We persevered. I did let it sit for about a week before I touched it because I was just so sad. Anyways, moving right along into whips, kind of. I have a half object. I did finish one of my socks. So this is just a vanilla sock. I used just 64 stitches around, 2x2 ribbing for the cuff, a slip stitch heel, and just a normal toe. The yarn is the Crowening by Fangirl Fibers, which was also another Halloween sock set from last year. I didn't plan this theme, but here we are. So I did finish this. I weaved in most of my ends. There's a couple I still need to finish. Very happy with this little lone sock. And I did, in fact, start on its mate. Seems like there was something else I was going to say about this one, but now I don't remember what it was. Probably wasn't important. Like I said, it's just a vanilla sock. Nothing super special. I desperately need new socks in my wardrobe. One of my goals for this week when I'm off is to sit down, hopefully this afternoon, and start darning some socks. Have I ever darned a sock? Nope, I have not. We're gonna learn. I did buy a darning loom from Cast On Yarn Studio. Hi, Brenda. That's what I kind of consider my local yarn shop. It's in Vermilion, which is about an hour from me. But she's at some shows that I go to, and I always buy something from her. And I believe Katrinkles is the maker of this darning loom. So that's what I bought. We're going to try it. I have no idea how it works, but we'll see. I wear wool socks pretty much mid-September through mid-April, sometimes earlier, sometimes later, like every single day. It gets really, really cold here in the winter and wet and snowy, and I just love the squishy warmth of wool socks. However, I don't have a ton, so I wear the same ones over and over, and they have begun to wear through. So two things need to happen. The old ones need darned and fixed, and I really need new pairs so that I can have a larger rotation of these socks. So this is all to preface. There are a lot of socks in this podcast. There are a lot of sock plans coming up. I am by no means only going to knit socks, but for the time being, we're going to knit a lot of socks. So anyway, here's that. And here is where I am on the second sock. I am almost done with the leg. I just need about another inch or so. And I knit most of this leg in the car. I spent the weekend, which I'm going to talk about in great length here in a few minutes, at Wool Gathering at Young's Jersey Dairy Farm, I think is what it was called. It's in Yellow Springs, Ohio. It's about a 3-hour drive from me. So I spent most of the day Saturday there, and I got a lot of this done in the car, which was lovely. So anyways, vanilla sock, the Crowening by Fangirl Fibers, and I'm knitting these on a US 1.5 and 64 stitches. That way, when future Courtney doesn't know what she knits these on, she can go back and look. All right. Oh, and my bag is from Pokemon Go. Well, oh my goodness, it's a Pokemon bag. I play a lot of Pokemon Go. And it is from Unusual Surroundings. And everything, I will do my best to link everything down below in the description box. So check there if you're interested in anything. I usually can get most things linked, not everything. And there's a lot this week. So if I miss a few things, I'm so sorry. If it's not there, just let me know. Okay. Next up is, we'll go with this. So this is in a Halloween bag I picked up a year or two ago from Cherry Pie Cottage. They're on Etsy. And I just love the little vintage fabric. And it has bats inside. And this is another vanilla sock. This one, I'm trying something new. I'm doing 56 stitches around. I usually do a 64 inch. I'm so sorry. 64 stitch sock. But I would really like them to be a little bit tighter around. However, I also have a very high instep. So this is sort of an experiment to see if I can do a 56 stitch sock to have that tightness on my leg, but to still be able to pull it up over my instep and my heel. That's my concern. But look at that. I did all of this in the car as well. And this is leftover from another sock that I knit a couple of years ago. And the yarn is from Clark & L. And it was their September 2020 colorway for their socks. They did they might still do it, I don't know. Every month an inspiration photo and then sock yarn. I'll turn it around so you guys can see. And the inspiration photo for this one was a field of sunflowers. It's so pretty. And then I'm pairing it with, most of the time, my brain goes way faster than my mouth does. So I apologize. This skein is from Ms. Monsters Creations, and I bought it, she dyed it, and did a destash a while ago. I think maybe even close to the end of last year. And I bought 3 skeins from her that are supposed to be Disney themed. And they don't have tags, so I have no idea what this is. If you happened to buy this yarn from her and know what the colorway is, I would love to know. It's really pretty. It's got reds and browns and pinks. And I tried to find out what it was, but it appears she is no longer dyeing. Her Instagram hasn't been updated since Christmas, and her Etsy shop is completely empty. I couldn't find any information on a new name or a new shop, so I'm guessing she's just not dyeing anymore. But that is okay. This yarn is really pretty, and since I have no idea what the colorway is, I am just calling these my apple cider socks because that's very fall and makes me very happy. And these are also knit on 1.5 size needles, and there is definitely a theme here. I did not plan a theme. I just was picking things up as I went. This is a little button. I don't know if you can see, but this is by Simply Serving. And it's a little button. I have a second one, and that was from a Coraline themed little Notions kind of countdown thing for Halloween last year. So we are very much on the fall theme. All the fall things. We are very ready for fall. I think fall might be my favorite season. I love that I live somewhere where all 4 seasons happen and usually are pretty distinct, although sometimes spring gets lost. And I really love that. Summer is probably my least favorite. I just don't like the heat. My body does not like heat. It doesn't do well. I'm very pale. I burn very easily. I get overheated easily. Sun like causes migraines for me. So I'm very ready for fall. Very excited about fall. There are things I absolutely love about summer, but fall is where it's at for me. So anyways, that's just another vanilla sock. And we're going to move that to the side and move on to the next thing. So since we're talking about socks, let's just keep rolling with the socks. So you guys have seen this. It's been a minute. This is in my Bella carton bag, and I did test. I did a test before I started filming, and everything should show up for you guys. Right side facing this time. So that's exciting. And I showed my finished sock a few episodes ago, but I'll just show it again for a refresher. So this is my triple scoop Shorty socks, and those are by the Kitchen Sink Shop. And I'm using leftovers from my summer in Chinkapin Parish, Christmas in July, or July countdown from last year. And that's by Hannah Made It, who I am also I'm not positive if she is still dyeing or not. If anyone knows, let me know. Nothing new has been added to her shop in a long time. It's been a long time since I've seen her active on Instagram, so I am guessing she's not currently dyeing. But anyway, this was my finished sock, and as I had said, for the second one, I am swapping out the blue and the pink, and I'll do the blue up here for the heel and cuff, and the pink for the toe. And the rest is scrappy. So like this purpley color, I know I'm going to run out of on the second sock pretty early on, and I'm just going to sub it in for something else from that same set to use up my scraps. So I did start the second sock, which, we have lots of ends. It is kind of a mess. There we go. So I just started the second sock. So I think that'll be fun. That'll be cute. Got the different heels. That's fun. And I've started the striping there. And like I said, I'm going to run out of this purple very, very soon. And the stitch markers that I'm using are also from Hannah Made It. I've got a little flower on here. I'm working on the gusset decreases, so I've just got a flower and a little shooting star. That's what I have on there. So I'm not going to talk too much about those because you've seen them before, and I haven't made much progress on the second sock other than getting it started. So again, that is the Triple Scoop Shorties by the Kitchen Sink Shop. All right. Okay, we're moving at a good pace. So next up, and this is my last work in progress, I believe, for today, is one you guys haven't seen before. It's not a new cast on. When I did my whip parade back in episode 2, I mentioned that there were a few projects that I knew it had been cast on, but I either A, had lost track of them and didn't know where I'd put them, or B, they were inaccessible. And this guy was currently inaccessible because I had taken the needles out to use for another project, finished that project, and put the needles back in. And I decided I should start working on this again. So this is the... hang on. This is the Anakin Infinity Cowl by Tanis Gray. And I don't remember when I started this one, last fall maybe. I also forgot to look to see what yarn it is. I know I bought it from Brenda at Cast On Yarn Studio. This was another purchase from her. And I'm knitting this one for my husband. So it's a colorwork cowl. It's pretty repetitive, but it's just interesting enough to keep it fun. These colors are showing up so well on the screen. So it's just this pretty gray and cream. That's what he wanted. The pattern can be found in the book, Star Wars Knitting the Galaxy. which was put together by Tanis Gray. And my husband loves Star Wars. So when I bought this book, he looked through it and I asked him, if I only make one thing from this book, which item would you want it to be? And he picked this cowl. So I'll show you a picture of it. You can see how it's worn. And I would really like to get this done for him. Like I said, Northeast Ohio winters can be very cold, and I know he would really like to have this done for winter. Let me see if I happen to have a ball band in here. I'm sure I don't. I do not. So next time I will tell you what this is. I know it's a wool and acrylic blend. Other than that, and it's commercial yarn. Other than that, I do not know what this is. So anyway, that is the Anakin Infinity Cowl by Tanis Gray. And I have both of my progress keepers on here are from Simply Serving. This is where I was when I just picked it up. And then this little crow with the party hat on is where I started this week. So I knit that much of this cowl in 1 week. It was kind of insane. Also, a few episodes ago, I was knitting a colorwork stocking, which I still need to go back and finish the duplicate stitching on. And someone reminded me of turning colorwork inside out to loosen your tension on your floats. And I can't remember who that was, but thank you. I had heard that before and it just never stuck in my brain. And it did this time. And my floats are so much nicer remembering to do that trick. Ooh, they look so nice on camera. Look at those floats. This is the nicest color work. Whoops, we're losing stitches. It's okay. It's all good. This is the nicest color work I think I've ever knit. So thank you to the person who reminded me of that little tip. It has come in so handy. I appreciate you. And that is in my pumpkin spice junkie bag. I don't know who this is by. I believe my husband bought it for me. Oh, nope, we've got a tag inside. It says It's Coming Up Rosie, R-O-S-I-E. So I'll have to find her shop and link it. I believe my husband bought it for me. And that is what I have for whips. I tried to fly through this because we have a lot of stash additions. We're going to talk about my future possibilities really quick. And then if that's where you want to leave me, you're not interested in the stash additions, that's totally fine. I shopped until I dropped on Saturday. I had been saving up for months for this show, and it shows. So anyways, we'll talk about future possibilities really quickly here. I need to turn the page in my little notebook. Okay. So it's time to announce my fall cast on, if anybody's as excited as I am. I really thought it through. I so appreciate all the feedback on the Mema cardigan. I do plan to knit that, just not right now. I don't feel like right now is the best time for me to learn a brand new technique. I have some things happening behind the scenes here that I can't talk about at the moment. And we also have a really busy schedule coming up. So I am not going to be knitting that at this time. Instead, I did decide I am going to knit the Monstera by Joji Locatelli. And I apologize, it's in black and white. My printer's black and white. This is what we have. But if you can see, it's an all-over cable sweater. Beautiful cardigan. And I have had this in my queue for a couple years now. I had bought yarn for it to be my birthday cast on for my 30th birthday. Yes, for my 30th birthday. And I started swatching with the yarn that I bought, and it just was way too variegated, way too many colors, way too busy to show these cables off right. So I knit it into another cardigan. The yarn has been used. There's some left over, but a lot of it was used. Another cardigan by Hohi. I was very happy, but I really, really, really want this cardigan. So back around Memorial Day weekend, I went to a fiber show that I now can't remember which one it was. And Tina of Tina's Twisted Fibers, who you're going to be hearing a lot about in this episode, was there. And I was talking to her and I was like, here's what I need to knit. I need a colorway that matches what I've had living in my head. I've had this vision for this cardigan, and this is kind of what I want. I really want greens, and I need it to look pretty with these cables. And she goes, oh, I have a colorway for that. And she's amazing. She pulls out her phone. She's like, oh yeah, I have this really old colorway. Let me find it. And she scrolls and scrolls and scrolls. And finally she goes, this? And it was the colorway I have had in my head for this cardigan. It is perfect. So I had ordered a sweater quantity from her, and it arrived a few months ago, and I've just been sitting, enjoying looking at it and squishing it and going, oh, I'm going to cast this on soon. I'm going to cast it on soon. And then I didn't, but I am now. And this is her Willow colorway, and it's on, I want to say it's called her Ultra Fingering Base. It has like 490 yards per skein, per 100 gram skein in 100% superwash merino. So I have 3 of those. So it's a little less than the pattern calls for, but I think I'm going to be fine. I usually knit shorter sleeves, like quite a bit shorter than patterns call for, because I have T-Rex arms. They're quite short, and I don't like a really long sleeve. I prefer like bracelet length or even 3/4 sleeve length. I like to wear cardigans to work, and I find that really long sleeves get in the way. So, and I wash my hands a lot at work as well, and that icky feeling of wet cuff, no thank you. So I'm going to be casting this on this week, swatching, and hopefully actually starting the cardigan on Thursday, which is the fall equinox, autumnal equinox, I guess we want to be proper. I cast on something special at each solstice and equinox. It's not a religious thing or anything for me. It's just, for me, it's just a way to mark that changing of the seasons and to have something fun to work on during that season. So anyways, these are going to become a Monstera. I am so excited. So excited. So that's the first future possibility that isn't even really a possibility. It's a future definite. But there we have it. The second future possibility came about because I was scrolling through Instagram last night, like one does, and I came upon these socks, and I need them in my life. I need to knit them at some point, maybe this fall. They are the Life's Better When Camping socks. So you could do just the little camper or just the tent or a sock of each, which is what I would do. But they are just so sweet. I believe this is a very new pattern. And it's by Sarah L. Kelly of Gray Owl Knits. Here, we'll just hold that up. Hopefully you can read that. And they are absolutely so sweet. I cannot wait to knit these. I think they will be so fun to wear camping. Maybe I'll even knit on them when we go camping next. I'm not really sure. I don't know when I'm going to start those, but they're so cute. And I really want to make those. Okay, so if you were here for the knitting and the future possibilities and you have no interest in stash editions, have a lovely rest of your day and leave me a comment, say hi. Social medias are all down below. And yeah, if you're hanging out with me, buckle up, pause, grab a drink, grab a snack, settle in. We have a lot. I may not show everything this time. We'll see how far we get. I really don't want to go too much over an hour if possible. So we're just going to see how this goes. And whatever we don't get to this time, we'll get to next time. All right, so we're going to start off with the Fangirl Fibers Disney Yarn Club of the month September skein. We're pretty late in the month, so I would guess everybody has gotten theirs already. But if you didn't, this is your spoiler alert. Look away. Spoiler, look away. Plug your ears if you don't want to hear, you know, what the colorway is. And join me again in about 30 seconds. So this is September's. And it's so pretty. I love it. And it is called Pull the Lever Kronk from the Emperor's New Groove. I love, love, love this. And I am terrible at looking at a skein and knowing how it'll knit up. So I have no idea how this is going to knit up, but it's going to be amazing. And I love it. So anyways, that's the September Disney Yarn colorway from Fangirl Fibers. Okay. Young's Jersey Dairy, Wool Gathering, so much shopping. So much. So I only got one project bag. And this is what my fall cast on is going to live in. But for right now, a lot of the yarn I bought is living in this. And I walked past this 4 or 5 times. And every time I was like, oh my goodness, it's so cute. I need it. Well, I don't know. Do I really need another project bag? Do I need another sweater bag? Yeah, I do. I really wanted a fall themed one and a coffee themed one. And this fit the bill. It's got all kinds of little sayings, little latte art, pumpkins, coffee, leaves. It's just so fall. There's no pockets or anything, but that's okay. It is massive. Like, look how big this is. It holds so much. It is crazy how much this holds. And I only have it about halfway full. So at one point I had all the yarn except for the only sweater quantity I bought at the show stuffed into here. And then I decided I didn't want to do that. So anyways, and the bag is by Twisted Yarn and Fiber. Let's go check her out. I believe she has an Etsy shop and a website, I think, too. So let's see what is inside. I'm just going to set this next to me. So I told you we were going to talk a lot about Tina's Twisted Fiber. And I go to these shows and I'm always so excited, and then I get there and I'm so overwhelmed. This one was way bigger than I thought it was going to be. It was massive. So my sweet, sweet husband is very, very supportive of my knitting and my yarn stashing and all of that. So he was so gracious, and we just walked through each tent multiple times over and over without me buying anything. I have such a hard time making that very first purchase. I don't know why. And then usually once I do that, it's the floodgates have opened. That's what happens. So I did what I do, and I went to Tina's booth, and that seems to be the place where I can finally buy something and like break the seal. So I found 2 skeins there that I absolutely loved and fell in love with that I plan to use for socks. So this is a 75-25 Blueface Leicester nylon base. And this one is called Backwoods. It is just gorgeous. Very fall. Almost everything I bought was either very fall or very neon. There wasn't much in between. It's so pretty. So this is a future sock. And it is just stunning. Lots of purples, mustards, reds. Absolutely gorgeous. So I got that skein. And then I also picked up this one, which is equally fall. And this one is same base, and it's called Fall Whispers. This reminds me of fall leaves. It's so pretty. So pretty. So like I said, these 2 were from Tina's Twisted Fibers. I also picked up a couple of stitch markers, one for a friend and another one for myself that is floating around in here somewhere. So at whatever point it pops up, if it pops up today, we'll talk about it. And if it doesn't, we'll talk. Oh, here it is. She had these little pink flamingos, and my logo, of course, is the knitting flamingo. And so we had to get a flamingo one. And it's got like little rhinestones. It's so cute. Okay, moving on. I have no idea what order I actually bought these in, so we're just gonna go with whatever I pull out. And okay, we'll go with this one. So I got this from Solstice Fiber Studio, and I forget the names of the dyers. I am so sorry. But they were so kind, so fun to chat with, and I had such a hard time choosing a sock set. I didn't choose one. They had so many beautiful sock sets, and I really love color in general, and I just couldn't choose. So I made my husband pick, and he picked this one, which I absolutely love. It's got these speckles of neon and red and this like very, very bright blue mini with this. It's so pretty. And this one is called The Salesman, and I just love it. This is another 75-25. This is a superwash merino and nylon base, and I cannot wait to make these socks. There are going to be so many socks coming. So many socks. I'm so excited. Okay, next up, we're just going to run through these. Like I said, we'll get to what we get to. Yeah, we'll go with, so they were calling it a yarn truck rodeo. So there were 4 yarn trucks there, and there was an entry to win a basket full of yarn if you bought $10 or more in items from each of these 4 yarn trucks. So, of course I did. I did not win, unfortunately. Very sad, but congratulations to whoever did win. So, I don't remember some of where I picked up all of these things, but I know a lot of them came from those trucks. So one of the trucks was Yarn Adventure, and there's her, here's show notes right there. Here's her info. She gave me these 2 stickers, and I bought a squirrel sticker from her. I also bought a different squirrel sticker for a friend of mine. And she asked why I was buying squirrels, if I was a squirrel fan. And I was like, oh, my friend really loves Squirrel Girl, and we're Squirrel Girl fans. And half the people in this yarn truck were like, oh, I love Squirrel Girl too. Squirrel Girl is a Marvel superhero. In case you're not familiar, She is so delightful. And anyways, I had to get this one with the little coffee and the little hat. I thought that was so sweet. So I got that from her truck. And I got this skein from Rock and String Creations. I hadn't ever heard of them, but she had this color and another color of self-striping. It's blowing out a little on camera. It's not quite this bright, but I do love the neons. And this is in the Rebel Child colorway, and it's an 80/20 superwash merino nylon base. So this is going to be so much fun. These might need to be knit up in like January or February when we're in the doldrums of winter. This would be such a cheery, fun sock. So anyway, I got that. And then I also got, which I've been wanting to try for a very long time, a skein of Yarn Hero. And a lot of patterns seem to be using yarn like this for color work or whatever. I know a lot of people talk about Spin Cycle, and Spin Cycle is out of a lot of our budgets. I know for me, I have pretty much a set budget, and I would rather buy more skeins of yarn than just a few that are like this. So Yarn Hero is more affordable and has a very similar effect, and this is called, the colorway is called Sea Turtle. So I'm not sure what I'll use this for, but definitely one of those hot patterns that are out right now that use this type of yarn. And this is a DK weight, so that'll be good. Okay. Next, let's see. Oh, we'll talk about these. One of the other trucks that was there was Indigo Guinea fiber. And I bought some notions and things, and I genuinely don't remember which yarn truck I got them from, or yarn trucks. I'm not really sure. So I might just lump all those in at some point here in a minute. But I bought these 3 minis that are a little bit larger than normal minis. But remember those camping socks I was talking about? I had originally bought these for heels, toes, and cuffs. No, these are going to become part of those camping socks. Like on Little Camper, this teal, which is called Adventure, I think would be just the perfect color for the camper. And the green can be the trees. And this one's called Clever. It's definitely not like a pine tree green, but that's okay. This is like a very neon camping experience, apparently. And then for the tent, this hot pink Brilliance would be perfect. I love these 3 colors together. I did not plan that. They're just colors I loved, thought they'd be great in heels, toes, and cuffs. Now they're going to be camping socks. That's okay though. They're super cute. So again, that's Indigo Guinea fiber. And this is her Hatchling Sparrow fingering base, which is 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon. And these are 33 gram mini skeins. So I really have 1 gram shy of 100 right here. So that's pretty good. And, you know, we'll talk about some of these notions because I'm not sure where I bought these from. So these were everywhere. I hadn't really heard of her. And then this morning I was watching the Catnip podcast with Grace. Hi, Grace. And she talked about these. I had never heard of them. These are Pearl Smith, and I guess she does like freshwater pearls, stitch markers. I'm sorry if there's any crinkling. And so I got green, and I got my friend, I have hers right here, I can show you. Hers is called Antique Glass Blue, and actually on hers you can see the little stitch markers which are rose gold. And I thought those would be perfect for socks. Mine doesn't have a color name, but it's just green, I guess, and green's my favorite color, so that's just fine. I think I bought that from Indigo Guinea, but I might have bought it somewhere else. And another thing that I bought from her, I think, or someone else, one of the trucks, we had knitting charms for like progress keepers, or earrings, which have the lever back. So you could split up the set and use them as progress keepers or wear them as earrings. And I already took mine off and put it on my Pokemon bag. This one is for my friend. I saw this set and I could not resist. She has 2 boys who I think are going to love that. And I thought that would just be such a fun progress keeper. I think those are all the little notions I bought. I did, Yarn Birds was there, which this is perfect. They're who I'm talking about next. Yarn Birds, Birds is with a Y. They are a yarn truck from Columbus, Ohio. And I have been on their truck several times. They've been at many of the shows I've attended. And I got a pair of scissors from them. Really pretty. My husband bought me a pair of scissors from them the last time they were at a show we went to, and they're super sharp. They cut through yarn like butter, and having fancy scissors makes me feel very fancy. And honestly, these do such a great job. I love them. So I picked up another pair of those, and I picked up a sock set. And again, there were 3 sock sets. I could not choose. I had my husband choose. And he chose these so that I can cast them on Thursday for the equinox. And this is, whoop, we're going to drop it, Ash and Bumble. And this is their autumnal equinox sock set. And so there's like these dark moody purples and grays and some orange. It's just really pretty. So because of the name, I'm also going to cast these on probably Thursday. And this is an 80-20 sock set, 80 superwash, 20 nylon in their field base. This is just, oh, it's so pretty. I am so excited to knit these up. It feels really good, really nice and squishy. So again, I got that from Yarn Birds, and that is everything that was in the bag. So I think I'm going to stop there. I still have quite a bit that I bought, and I think I'm just going to save that till next time we chat. There was a lot in this episode, and I just don't want to be here the rest of the day. There's not quite that much, but there's a fair bit left. So anyways, let's do a little bit of a life update. Like I said, this past weekend, we went down to Southern Ohio for that show. We did visit the town of Yellow Springs. We had a late lunch on Saturday at Clifton Mill, which was really lovely. And then yesterday, we got an Airbnb, stayed overnight. And then yesterday, we went to John Bryan State Park. We have an Ohio State Park passport, which is a little notebook that tells us about each state park. And when you go to a state park, you get a stamp in it. And we've been doing that for a couple years now. It's really, really fun. So this was one we hadn't been to. They have a 9-basket disc golf course. And my husband does disc golf. He loves it. And we did that. It was so much fun yesterday morning. And then had a picnic lunch and hiked in the afternoon. We did the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati Stagecoach Trail. And then it was Pokemon Go Community Day, their September one. And so we stuck around, caught some Pokemon, and then headed home. So it was just a really beautiful, really lovely weekend. The state park was very, very nice. I would highly recommend it if you are from that area and are looking for somewhere to spend a day. It was just lovely. And we had a great time at the Fiber Festival at Wool Gathering. I fangirled so hard. I met Kay from the Crazy Sock Lady podcast. She probably thinks I am the most awkward person in the world, but that's okay. My husband encouraged me to actually say hi, which was kind of out of my comfort zone. Very much fangirled. It was a whole thing. So that was really exciting. And saw a lot of animals. We got to pet goats, which was pretty great. Yeah, it was just a really lovely weekend. And the next few weeks, really, the rest of fall is just jam-packed. We have something going on, I think, every weekend is already filled up. And even some of our evenings, which we usually try to keep free. So we will be very busy, which is another reason I'm choosing to knit socks during this particular season. They are really easy to knit when you are socializing. And somebody asked why I didn't do an afterthought heel on the one sock and just knit a tube. And I could do that. I've never done it, but that's okay. The reason that I haven't done an afterthought heel is I shied away from knitting socks for a long time after I learned how to do it because I found heels so intimidating. And I recently realized I had finally not quite memorized, but have almost memorized how to do a heel flap and gusset. That heel really fits my foot well. I really enjoy doing it. And right now I just want to keep myself knitting socks. And my fear is I don't want that intimidation to come back at this stage, if that makes any sense. I don't know if it does or not. I just really like them. So it also gives me an excuse to put more socks on my needles if I need some in a socializing stage. So that's kind of where we are with that. Other plans, like I said, I am off work this week. Just had a week of vacation to use, and I am hoping to do some non-knitting crafting this week, maybe. I would also really like to get my niece's sweater done. I have more plans than time to do them. There's no book corner this week because I haven't read anything really lately. I'm hoping to get some reading done. I'm hoping to get some baking done. I need to get those socks darned. I'm visiting my grandparents one day this week. Friday night, my husband's going bowling and my brother's gonna sleep over and he and I are gonna hang out. Saturday, I am meeting up with a good dear friend for lunch, which I'm very excited about. Then we're going with other friends to the Akron Zoo for a special event. Sunday, we're going to a pumpkin patch. And then next weekend, I work on the Saturday and we're going to dinner with people. And then I know we have stuff going on Sunday and I can't even remember. It's so much. We have a lot. All good things. I am very excited. But it's a lot. So I hope that you all are well. If your fall is looking as crazy as mine is, I hope that you find joy and find some time to knit. And I hope that you leave a comment and let me know what you are working on. I do read all the comments. I don't always get a chance to reply right when I wish that I could. I know I have a few on my last video I still need to reply to. We had spotty service this weekend. So I do need to do that. But I really love hearing from you. I love this little community we're building. Ooh, looks like another storm might be blowing in. So we're ending this just in time. And yeah, let me know what you're working on. Please like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already so that we can keep up with each other on what we're doing. And you can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry, also as Pearls of Parmadice, and I will put my Pokemon Go friend code down below. So if you play or someone in your family or a friend plays, please feel free to pass my code along. I hope you all have a wonderful couple of weeks. I will see you on Friday the 30th, if all goes well. And I hope that you are knitting in your little corner of your own version of Parmadice. And I will see you soon. Bye.